Seems to be working. Greetings everybody. This is my very first stream and I am about to show you how I, the ByteBeat Guy, am creating music in No Man's Sky. Alright, well, to be honest, I usually start building a small little base, so in this case I created in one of my ByteBeat hubs a little something in the middle of the ocean near to a crash trader. Nothing special, not real talented at glitch building, at least not anymore, but that's not why I'm here. Alright, so how do I go about making ByteBeat and creating ByteBeat? Just 1 second, I need to put up the chat because I have no clue about... Alright, there it is. Perfect. So I can respond to your chatting with me. So, at first, well, I guess it's quite obvious you need to build a few ByteBeat machines. The number of ByteBeat machines you want to use is up to you. I usually use the full potential of 8 ByteBeat machines. In this case, I have, or let's put it like this, my standard setup is 6 ByteBeat machines at half the BPM count of the music I intend to create, and 2 at a normal speed. For in this case, the normal speed is 150 BPM, and the majority of my ByteBeat machines will be at 75 BPM. This is because I get more time out of it. So, and I have I have more freedom with creating drums, etc. But as you can see here, this is how I start doing ByteBeat. I get rid of pretty much everything that the random generation produces, put the volume, etc. on full. I go on the envelope editor and have the length of 1 with no particular decay or attack. I usually start out with a sinus waveform on level 1, have everything nice and flat on 4 or 2. On the appreciator or appreciator, or who the hell knows how to pronounce this shit. And what I do then is simple. I usually just start out with creating beats, which is very easy actually if you know what you're doing. So with this, I'm going to start with a simple tech house or techno beat, the usual, which looks in this case like that. I start out with the bass line, start with the kick drums. Keep going, and I start out with 4 ByteBeat machines that are set up like this. I usually have one sort of number, in this case this is the 6. My preferred drums to start out with are at least 5, 6, 7 and 8 or 9. But in the very end I use all the ByteBeat machines for drums. But it's that when I'm there. Alright, so let's go to 5. And you will hear how the drum loops are building themselves up as more drum sets are being added to the loop. So these are just 2 ByteBeat machines, it's already sounding half decent. Let's go to 7. Alright, 3 ByteBeat machines, 1 more to go, and then we'll go to the bass line. Quite perfect. Alright, I also have my on-off switch in case it gets irregular. No, what error is not working. 1 second, guys. Alright, and here we go again. Let's test this out. Alright, works perfectly. Okay. Well then, after I've started out with a small little beat, I usually head over to the bass line. Now I'm not going to go into creating a melody or something else. I just want to have a nice little kick to the bass line, have a kick drum, etc. Just 1 second, guys. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, starting off with bass drums. In this case, I usually go with what I get first. Now, what I do is, first of all, I only want to hear the bass line and whatever I connected. And this will set on there. Alright, this sounds horrible as usual. This one obviously will not generate as smooth bass lines as I've hoped for, but there's a nice little trick I can show you. Right. It's not good. Now what I'm looking for right now is what I call the shift right kick drum. When I get it, I will explain it to you further, but it's quite tricky to find it. First of all, this ByteBeat constellation probably won't generate the exact sound I'm looking for, which means I will have to delete this ByteBeat machine and hope that I will find it out. Because you need to get to shift right and have a smooth bass line here, and the 2 more subtrees that are also on shift right. If those conditions are being met, then we can proceed, but this might take a while. And since on the sinus waveform the synthesizer generator is so eerie and high-pitched, it already tells you that it won't be able to produce the exact same synform I'm looking for, especially not on the shift right. So what we do is we delete the ByteBeat machine and place another one, hoping that next time it won't generate the same high-pitched, unpleasant noises. I will hope for the best. Let's also set up the drums again. I generally do not use the copy-paste feature, as it inhibits your ability to edit the waveforms. Just implement something that doesn't even sound the same as the one you copied it from, and well, yeah, this is not how I work with it. So if I want to copy-paste it, I do it manually. Alright, drums are back again. Let's hear only this ByteBeat device. And set it right. Maybe we are being lucky this time. Let's search for it. Potentially we're on the right track. Let's see. Okay, So this is usually the way it should look like, and now you can use the numerical inputs to see whether there are kicks coming out. 1 second. Alright, excuse me guys, I was on the phone. But this is exactly the kind of bass I was looking for. This is my personal use of a kick drum in ByteBeat, which I use. As you can see, it's not necessarily easy to find those, but if you know what you're doing, it's quite simple. As you can see, I use a basic shift right bass. I have 2 subtrees with the operators also set to shift right, and now it's up to me to find the perfect balance between the numerical inputs to have these whoosh kick drums. Now if I was to put it on 2, you can hear that there's some crunching noise in it, which can also be removed by setting the waveform editor pitch, or to adapt the numerical inputs right. But it's a balance game, so it's not necessarily easy. It's just something you have to be patient with and to try out. Now if I was to put the drum loops again and have everybody, you can hear that I already got some, well, basic drums and kick drums starting to get somewhere. Let's do this once again so it's perfectly in sync. But yeah, so this is the basic, very basic house beat, if you want it like that. Now what I do next is continue with the bass lines. In this case, making another bass drum, but not a kick drum this time, but more like a bass wave. Just a second, now the same game again. Let's disable the drums on this one and also have the one ByteBeat machine. And let's find another bass line. Obviously it's not going to be this one, so let's search for one. Alright, this might be something that we can work with. 1 second. No, let's not do this. It's something. This is a simpler version of the shift right base right here, where you have also a strong attack on the kick drum, but it's not exactly the same as with the shift right base. Now let's, for example, if you have a smaller length and in the envelope, you will have a stronger attack. I usually stand with 3/4. But in this case, I think I'm going to with a half, so the high-pitched noise that is in it is being cut off. Now let's have a listen to it. Alright, sounds like a decent kick drum. I'd say we're able to continue with another type of bass. Now the next sort of bass is not to have support on the drum loops, it's more to, this one I'm going to build now is for in the end supporting the melody. Like the same game again, disable drums, have a listen and find something good. It'll take a while, but well, you have to be patient with ByteBeat. I always say ByteBeat is a game. The only way to win is to play well, and it might take some time. Now, I'm not quite sure where I want to go with this tune yet, so if I wanted to go into a more electronic sort of way, I could use this waveform here, which is the square waveform. This would give you something like this. So for example, if I was to make like a specific techno beat or something, I would do something like this. So you'd have like just the ISO or whatever you wanna you get what I mean. It's quite simple. So you already have a half decent, very simple, very monotonous tech house beat, or techno beat in this case. We could work with this if you'd like, so I'd continue with it. And let's see what we can do out of it. Same game again, disable drum loops. And this case, let's see. I want to support this one. It is good, so nice. Perhaps. Always remember to make a quick save every now and then, so you have options to go back to if you make a mistake or whatever. But yeah, this is already going somewhere. This is already going somewhere. Good. Now, as you can see, I've only used up 4 ByteBeat machines so far. 2 are for the kick drums that are supposedly supporting the drum sets, and 2 are the typical whoop techno beat. Now, what I'm still wanting to do, and what I'm going to do now, is the following. As I've already told you, I use 2 different speeds. These ByteBeat machines on the left and right are set to half the BPM speed, and this one, these 2 in the middle are set on the actual speed of the tune, which is 150 BPM. Now what I want to do now is have a shift right kick drum that I'm going to produce on this one here, just to have a little more detailing to the beat. And the the fact that I use two different speeds gives me options. For example, those two, whatever we want to call this, are actually forming one at the other ByteBeat machines. So by having, for example, just put in sound in this, I will have half a sequence of whatever sound I'm going to implement. So in this one, I am, as I said, trying to reproduce the shift right beat drums, shift right kick drums. Potentially already I'm on the right way. Let's see. Perhaps I'm lucky. We'll see about that. Alright. Just be safe. It does not always work the way I intend to, so sometimes I have to completely do it again, which is no problem. It just takes a little more time to get where I want to be. Oh, but perhaps we can find the balance. You can see the waveforms is already getting up there, but sometimes it doesn't play it, which means that there is a problem. And we'll have to find the perfect balance between the two ByteBeat machines, which, as I said, is a game of patience. So. And now it's completely on a different waveform, one that I am actually not wanting to use. So let's do it again. And again, this one is set to a higher pitched synthesis when it comes to the waveform, so perhaps I'm going to get rid of this one, but I'll give it a few more tries just in case. I'm going to find something unexpected that I can work with later on. But it's already highly unlikely. Okay, let's just do this one. Let's prepare it again. Everything's 100%. Right. Now let's do it again. Let's see if we can work something out with this combination. The shift right bass drum, kick drum is not necessarily the only one there is. There are other variations that can be used, but sometimes there's noise in between that you do not want, like on this combination right here. So I'm just checking if it can be turned into the kind of kick drum I was looking for, which potentially is the case, but we'll see about it. Most likely this won't go the way I want. Getting there. And here we are. Now, what I can do with this is the following. Let's hear it out. So I've put half of it away, so it won't play now for half a sequence, and after that it's starting. For example, now you could make a drop for the intro, whatever. But for now this is something I like, and I'm going to stick with it, so we can put in some additional drums. Now, since the other ByteBeat machines are set to half the speed, which means that I have to use half of this as well. So if I want to add to the existing drum loops, I might not do it in the same spacing I used during the other machines, so in this case I have to do this spacing to make it correct. The thing about ByteBeat is that, unlike bass building, when you build a bass, you usually have a general concept of what you want to build or what you intend to build. With ByteBeat, this is not the case. You never know what kind of tune you come out with at the end. I mean, you can try to create actual tunes based on music that already exists, but for me personally, I find it kind of hard to do this. So I usually just go about it. Let's just have ByteBeat and myself co-create something beautiful and something that will not make your ears bleed. Because at the very beginning it's just an incoherent pack of noises that it's horrible. But after quite a while, and as you see, it took me, I don't know, 20 minutes or something to get where I'm right now. You can already have something that's sounding quite well actually. So let's see where we're going to be in just a few seconds. What was the next one? Drums. And it's already going somewhere. Fine. Now, what's next? So this is just a basic melody that just gives me a glimpse on what's possible. I'm probably not going to stick with this synthesizer, and perhaps going to make a different one later, but for now I'm working with it and see where it takes me. Alright, now let's see what it sounds like when we use the auto one as well. As you can hear, it doesn't sound as well anymore, so let's do something different. And also, this is twice as fast as this one, meaning what I have in this entire setup here, I'm going to have in half of the setup here to sound it, to have it sound exactly the way I want it to. Now, let's do this. And it's Soundcloud, so let's find another synthesizer for this one. Oh, this one is a nice one. What I like about these kind of let's call them irregulars, glitched waveforms, are that they are morphing and switching and changing in a manner that is repeating itself after the course of usually 1.5 hours or so. But they always grant you different waveforms from sequence to sequence for quite a while. And they give you a little bit of more asymmetric synthesis, which can sound pretty nice. It can sound really nice. Well, let's see what I can do with this one. As you can see, this wave right here is going up and down, meaning it's producing where it starts and where it ends at almost zero. If I, for example, would go a faster version, it's going up and down, starting to wobble. If I was going a little later, it will take more time to complete the wave, which in this case I'd say is almost better. Let's see what I can get out of this much. Let's do that. A major. Now it sounds okay. Alright, let's go with this for a moment until I decide to change it again. This I need to change as well. Oh, this is also too major. Alright. And as you can hear already, some of the frequencies are already starting to complement each other, meaning two frequencies together are creating another sort of waveform that is more appealing. It sounds better. In fact, ByteBeat in general is merely just a music program that could have been used in the late 1980s, early 1990s to create electronic music. If someone had this tool back in, let's say 1985 or so, they could have become rich, literally. But yeah, you can already listen to the track and see that I've got somewhere in less than an hour already. And I still have 2 more ByteBeat machines to use well, further make the tune better. Well, let's see what we can make out of it. I usually like to implement some more asymmetrical waveforms, so I'm going to search for some that are actually quite appealing. This one, I can already tell you, is going to be one of those that are high-pitched, but this is not necessarily something bad. So let's see what we can find out of it. Interesting. Yeah, pretty much most of the noises you generate are crap. Until you find the one that you can work with, it may take some time. Nope. Alright. Oops. I will be back in just a minute. I need to go somewhere. sorry. Right. Alright, but before I continue, I am going to change a little bit of melody. Alright, let's go. Now, as you can hear, the song is already taken shape. It's about reality. I got bass line, got little extras already in place. I had one of my connections to go to finalize my melody. Let's find it. But you can already see that there are no real irregularities about the synthesis production. So perhaps I am going to read this one and create a new one. First I'm going to try out something. What I can do right now is also adapt the kick drums to the melody if I wish. Sometimes I do that. In this case I'm just going to try it out what it sounds like. No, we're not done yet. As I already said at the beginning of my stream, I am going to use all the ByteBeat machines for drums. So now what I'm going to do is implement more of the drummers, as I did in the beginning. This I do mostly to give it a little extra kick. Now this simple loop is pretty much complete now. I will only be able to make some more detail in between. I've changed melody and fooling around with what I got. So I do have a decent drum loop setup, I do have decent bass line, and I do have the melody. Alright. Now, due to the fact that those are in a line, I cannot connect those with those to have an overview of the synchronizing because it will also change the speed of the synchronizing. But what I will do now is in fact start forming the song. Now I usually have a regular method to do this. I start out with something in the beginning, see what sounds good, keep away the melody synthesizers, just 1 or 2 for the intro, before it is starting the tune. But I got that. broadcasting recently because right now I want to do is introduce to somewhat different. But I hope you have enjoyed what I have to offer you. But I hope I've given you some insight as to how my method works and how to actually make something out of that. Sounds surprisingly enough, but it's so if you have any questions, please post a comment. Just let me know what you think. Just let anyone else know that ByteBeat that you'd like to share. Do so in the comment section. I will make the best to read those. Also, like and subscribe, please, and always appreciate that as well, as I guess you have already guessed as well. Yeah, it was actually quite nice.